Oh.
That's my spot. Gary.
Mm-hmm.
Did Ed Angelini Cook get a hold of you?
No.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate.
Why?
He wanted to know if you happen to have any consent shirts, any of the new ones. Well, he didn't want to know that. He just asked if he could get one quickly. And I said, Gary might have one. Ask him.
I guess the question is, why would he want one?
He wants to wear it for his class.
Oh, for the workshop. Got it. Hang on. I'll shoot him a message right now. Unfortunately, Zazzle is not good about a fast turnaround.
That's what I told him. I'm like, yeah, you might be able to get it with the fast shipping, but it's going to be expensive, and I don't trust it getting there in time.
Yay.
No one's in chat yet.
Well, it is after 8.
Yeah, but we still usually have people in chat.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
I am good to go whenever we want to start.
Huh?
Same.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready. Pretty sure. Yep.
Coolio. We'll do this. Nope, that's on it.
Ow!
That's what I want. All right. Since we're all ready to go, let's do this some bitch. Oh boy. I'll probably get rid of that.
I should put my new head on.
Oh,
check it out, it's silver.
Ooh,
You
you
painted it?
Yes. Isn't it awesome?
Yeah. Save that for pictures during DF, maybe. Is the paint coming off?
It's basically glitter. That's what makes it so
Oh.
shiny. So it hasn't like fully set yet. It's kind of like dust.
Like that sucks, kind of, but not really. I mean, as long as hopefully it'll stick. Anyhow.
all right. So I assume we're
Yes.
ready.
Yes.
Yes, here we go. 3, 2.
It'll be a negative.
Yeah. I don't hear anything.
Oh,
We were not ready.
Definitely ready.
shoot. Okay, false start.
False
right.
start.
Let's
Try that again.
hold on. Let's just test. Hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. No! Let's try that again. This time with style. 3, 2. It's April 8th, 2018. I'm Jeff.
Who's your bear? That's right. I am your bear.
I'm Damon.
I am Chester.
This room is a pigsty, and you're a dirty pig boy.
And that makes me Gary.
Don't hurt nobody with your bad self.
And welcome to Cubs Out Loud, the Bear Podcast of Indeterminate Length, episode number 461. And I had something for this part of the show, but I totally forgot it was. And it was something based off of something in the chat, but totally forgot what it was. Was it like tracking your sex? It's tracking your sex activity in an app. New COL app. I don't know. Oh, it totally ruined.
So
That joke just didn't go anywhere.
all right, let's just go on to this.
So, by the way, yeah, your last day is next Friday. Yeah.
Womp womp. Okay.
Like there was a sudden scene of Office Space. Like
Yeah.
you totally just put it in. It's like, I mean, it was much different way of it actually happening. But my manager said, "Hey Jeff, do you got a few minutes?" And we went into a room and he said, "Hey, your last day of your contract is next Friday." And I'm like,
Wow.
wow.
And did you say, yes, I'm aware. How is my application status going?
No, I was not aware that my contract was ending next Friday. I thought it was going to be next month.
Oh.
So this is like way months ahead of time. So part of this whole process here is also this next week I'm going to be due to a bunch of people going to, I believe they're going to Sacramento to the main office for a thing. I'm going to be popping over to a different group to help them out for this last week. So I wouldn't even be in my regular group for that entire week.
Okay.
So, but that means I can show off what I can do with the manager of that group, but because apparently all the managers in the groups get like a say or something in it. And my manager is like, yeah, just hire him, dude.
Got it.
I mean, more in a Peruvian sort of way, I'm sure, but I'm paraphrasing. So that was a bit of a surprise and kind of like a bummer. But I took it well. It's like, okay, just make sure my resume is updated, and check in with my contract. Say, hey, that maybe even ping some of the other places that I've contracted with, saying, hey, my last day is going to be such and such. But it also means I can't go back to Apple for at least 3 months.
Unless you get hired on.
Well, yeah, if I get hired on, that's another thing. But contract-wise, I can't come back for 3 months. Which,
got it.
I don't quite understand why that is, but
it is a work legal thing, because Jim does contract work with Kings Island, and he literally he has to be in contract for a certain amount of time, and he has to be not in a contract with them for a certain amount of time before he can start again. Even though he does it every year, they have to space out the contract. It's because if you
contracted for such a long time, you will be considered an employee of the company and not a contractual employee.
Ah.
That part.
And then they will have to start paying you for insurance and benefits and all of that good stuff.
Well, then I'd be paid by the non-contract company that I'm going through.
Exactly.
I'm not being paid by Apple.
But it is the same contract. If they've contracted out, it's usually like a third party kind of thing. Then it's the same rules apply.
I know.
So,
just say then they would have to actually like hire me on, and Apple would start paying me, because they still have still get health benefits nowadays. But I mean, it's not necessary.
But there's a possibility. So you just kind of go into a holding pattern.
I think when things went well before, so or with the interview, so I mean, I never know, so I don't keep my hopes up or anything. I just say this is how I feel. How they thought about it may be completely different, but who knows? So,
all right.
But cross fingers that either I get a second interview or say, yeah, your contract ends on Friday, but on Monday you're kind of coming in as a full badge employee. I'm not sure if that's a likelihood, but actually that happened to somebody else I was working with during my contract. So, question mark.
All right,
we'll see. Anyways, Damon, what's up with you?
I am vocally tired. Literally 4 hours ago, give or take. I wrapped up the men's choruses concerts this weekend, our Hot Thoughts concerts. They were really very well attended. It was a great show. We had a lot of fun. It seemed like our audience was loving it, and we were loving it on stage. So some good times, some hits and misses for certain things. But, it was a good show. It was hot. That was the only other thing. Was like we had jackets and our tux jackets and long sleeve button down white shirts and blue jeans and no AC. So it was quite warm. But it was fun and entertaining, and again, our audience really enjoyed it, and I had a really great time, and we literally start back for our next concert on Wednesday. So we start rehearsals then, so getting right back into the swing. Yay. Music.
Fun.
Also fun, yeah. Sorry,
And then you have to do a podcast and do more talking.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Chester, how are you?
I'm good. I start my new job tomorrow.
Woo, woo.
Yay!
Excited about that.
Okay, so just as a point of clarification, you're starting your new job and then you're leaving your new job for a couple days.
Yes.
Well, I was like, yeah, that would be fun.
If things would have went faster, I would have started my new job last week. But things went a little slow, so they were like, "Yeah, we're going to start you on the 9th." And I'm like, "Okay." I talked to the HR person before I went in, when I was doing my fingerprints and everything, and I'm like, "Just so you know, I need these weekends off." And she's like, "Okay, I'll make sure it's taken care of." But yeah, and then like 2 weeks later, I'm taking another weekend off. So
I think there's something going on. I don't know, in Cleveland, something like that. Maybe
puppies and poppers.
Whoa.
So
no,
that sounds like an official
poppers.
event.
You meant poppers, right?
It is when you're around Dane. Pizza, puppies, and poppers.
The 3 Ps.
Triple P.
Triple P.
Speaking of puppies, today I went to see Isle of Dogs. It's a new film by Wes Anderson. It's stop motion animation, and it is so good. So good. A quick synopsis is it's set in Japan, and there's a mayor who doesn't want dogs where they live, so they like round up all the dogs and they send them to this island, and there is a kid in the film who really wants his dog back, so he goes to the island to find his dog, and there's these other dogs who help the kid find his dog that he got taken away from him, and they come back and they overthrow the government. And it's just a really cute movie. It's funny. There's just little tiny jokes in there, and they're just formed so well. And for the most part, it's spoken in English, except for when it is somebody who is Japanese and they're talking, then it is in Japanese. It is not subtitled. It's done like that on purpose, and they explain it within the first 5 minutes of the movie of what's getting subtitled, what's not getting subtitled, what will be in English, what it will not be in English, and it's just a really great movie. It's an independent film. So it's not playing in, every theater across the United States. So you have to go to the website, look to see where it's playing, and do it soon so you can make sure that you get to see it before it comes to your town and leaves. So, I cannot tell you how much I loved the movie, and I'm going to try my best to get to go see it again.
Cool.
And lastly, Drenched Fur is coming up next weekend, so I've been packing up all of my gear and getting all of my stuff ready for that. So right now, my living room is full of bags and boxes, and I've got like 4 lists of things that I need to make sure that I've got and all that stuff, which I'm sure that Gary is all too familiar with right now. So, Gary, what's been going on with you?
Segway.
I call this the final countdown.
It's a final countdown.
Yeah. Which actually, that was appropriate. It was the '80s theme, because then I played the fuck out of that Europe song like the last days. But yeah, it's Sunday. Shit be happening this week, so I'm just trying to stay calm and keep plowing away to this ever-growing list that I'm trying to make it smaller of things that are going to be happening. So, and as per usual, it's a lot of last-minute stuff that like is coalescing and coming together. So people are calling me during podcasts. Love you, Ed. And messaging me and asking me questions about hotel rooms and registrations and blah blah blah. So, yeah, trying to knock things out and get ready for the impending craziness that will be here. Now, what's interesting to me is this weekend, wrapping up today, was Bears, Bikers, and Mayhem in Gettysburg, which AJ and I went and did a one-day pass kind of visit yesterday, or last year, I mean, and he was actually there for the whole weekend. He volunteered there. So I was thinking this weekend as I was working on Drenched Fur stuff, I was like it's Thursday, it's Friday, it's Saturday. And then today I was like, it's already over. Like thinking about their event and how quickly it just flies by. Like so fast. So
Yeah. We'll see how this weekend goes for you.
I tell people that all the time when you're at an event. Like, you show up and it seems like you've got all the time in the world. Before you know it, the first day is over and you're like, hey, that was a nice, easy first day. And then the second day comes by and you're like having fun, doing whatever. And then all of a sudden it is the last day of the event and you're like, holy shit, where the hell did the weekend go? And before you know it, you're waking up having to pack up all your stuff and say goodbye to all the people that you just got to see. Briefly, glimpse of people.
Well, we talking about that later, I guess. Kind of.
Yeah. So, yep. I'm going to try my best to not be distracted during the show tonight, but I'm trying to multitask. So I'm just going to own it outright that I got some other stuff going on. So
I'll just say good luck with that. Anyway.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we're going into this.
Hey, Chester, where did you get that great t-shirt?
Oh, this one? Wiseazzle.com/Cubs Out Loud, of course.
Over the past 10 years, our listeners and watchers have been supportive of Cubs Out Loud.
last year, COL launched our online merch store with Zazzle, and since then, the COL entourage has been enjoying all kinds of items.
In our Zazzle store, you'll find apparel like t-shirts, hats, and hoodies, but we also have other items like mugs, bumper stickers, and more.
In our YouTube videos, we like to show off these great items and talk about the product quality.
When we started our store, products showcased our 3 generations of the COL logo as a way for everyone to show their love and support.
Even better, now we've expanded the selection by adding in designs based on topic discussions and your feedback.
So be on the lookout for new designs as they are released in the coming months. In addition, we launched another way for you to support Cubs Out Loud.
In March of 2018, we kicked off our Patreon site, where awesome people like you can become patrons, where you'll be able to choose from 4 great levels to support us.
For as little as $1 a month, you can support Cubs Out Loud as part of the COL entourage. You can learn more about supporting us at patreon.com/Cubs Out Loud.
And thanks in advance for watching and listening to us here at Cubs Out Loud, the Bear podcast of indeterminate length.
So, I'm wearing a brand spanking new consent shirt with bear paw, but this time it's a tank top. Why? Because I live in Texas.
Because it's Texas.
Yeah. So, remember, you can get these shirts in all different styles, such as long sleeve that Damon's wearing.
Yes.
And that's one version of our style of logo. Shirt.
Yeah.
It's the kind of like the alternative V3 logo.
Yes.
And
Alt. It's 3.5.
The alt one?
Yeah, I don't know. Alternate.
I was thinking like along the lines of like alt right.
Oh no. No.
Alt left. That sort of like usage of alt. Anyways, moving on. And I believe Gary has a nice little hat on.
I do. I was on a committee call right before this that ran long, and so I done hat. Because it is always here at my desk pretty much. So I'm just like, boop, there's that. Plus I have to do laundry. I have some of my other stuff.
I know
So
the
yeah.
feeling. Also, don't forget, we got that store here, and we were mentioning in that little thing that there's always new spots. Of course, we got the Smashy collection, which we're pretty much highlighting. If you want to know what people are buying, you see right here, latest product sold. Hey, somebody bought a V3 shirt. It's the last one. But we also have Drag Race merch. And not just bags, mugs, clutches. We also have Drag Race shirts. So you can get your own Drag Race shirt in whichever style you want. This one shows pink, but you can choose a different color if you want to. But
Yeah.
I think the pink that I've got for the default looks snazzy. That's just me.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, yeah, as we said, there's also our Patreon. So
Interesting.
you did you suddenly have an idea about something that's actually not related to the show, or?
No, it was about. I was looking because I'm watching the live delay feed, and I was thinking about the items, and then I was thinking about the purse and the clutch, and then I was like, "Oh, we could give one of those to Bob the drag queen, who would hate us because Bob's lead-in his line is purse first." So to me, that would be funny to be like, "Hey, girl, I got a thing you don't want. Here's another clutch, another purse, because Lord only knows you've probably been handed a gazillion of them already." So
Probably.
Yet another clutch. Yet another clutch.
yeah.
Maybe get him one of the tote bags and just be like, "Hey, here's something a little different for you." We have clutches too, but just
Or a makeup caddy bag of some sort.
There you
or
go.
Something. Anyways.
Moving on, I think it is time for this. Gary, what's been going on over in the Facebook land?
So in Facebook we had 4 new likes.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm going to save my comments till I get to the end. We would like to thank the following individuals for liking us on Facebook: Jake Enger, Alan Mallinger, Jeffrey Workman, James Mike Smith.
And you'll notice that Jeffrey spells his name right.
Yeah, 3 of them I personally know. One of them happens to have been, I think, is the second highest attending guest host in COL history.
Huh.
If I've tracked that correctly, because I did a spreadsheet a couple months ago on that. So yeah, thanks for liking us on Facebook.
Oh,
He
would like to see
liked
those stats.
He had liked us before. I think this is a different
Profile.
page. Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, I don't think it's really that much of a reveal. Jeffrey Workman is also known as Jeff Rockcub. So yeah. So why now? I don't know, because it just popped up. I was like, oh, hey, all right, that's cool. So, yeah, very neat. Also in Facebook, we got some kind of comment/post. Michael Quinnichette Q submitted this, and it says, "The ripple effect begins," in asterisk. And it's a link to a Reuters article, and it's about, once I open it here, because I've forgotten, I've been busy. Sex ads website back page shuts down by U.S. authorities. So this kind of relates back to our discussion about FOSTA. Who?
FOSTA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I just took that sounder out too.
New internet. Who dis? So yeah, apparently Backpage.com, which honestly I'd never heard of before, was seized and shut down on April 6th. So as we discussed in that show, there is going to be some stuff. Well, but my understanding is that it's quote unquote being described as a sex marketplace website. So, and because FOSTA was meant to focus on sex trafficking, to me that's not all that far removed. My main concern in the episode when we talked about it was about what we use as like community apps in which people may or may not promote, themselves for business purposes, and if that might get construed by, the government in certain ways. So thanks for that, Q. And then COL458 turn-ons, turn-offs. We got 2 comments on that. James Martin says, fuck, this was bloody hilarious. Keep it up, guys. So
Hey.
Who would have
You're
thought
welcome.
turn-offs would be hilarious?
Well, I think he just meant the episode and probably us bickering and going back and forth about it. And then Michael Quinnichet,
I think
also
3 of us got broken and in giggle fits during that show.
Yeah. Q also said, great show, guys. Generally, I don't like wearing deodorant. I will use essential oils that have a woodsy, man-like smell, but like cedarwood, myrrh, or frankincense. It is a must for me at Bear Leather events. And I might have read that before. I can't recall. But there were some more kind of comments between Chester and
He said that in our Telegram chat as well.
Mm-hmm.
I remember telling him, I'm like, I have been around you enough, and I think you always smell pleasant.
For a second, I thought you were going to say edible. I don't know why.
Beautiful. Lovely. Wonderful.
David, what about over in YouTube land?
So we got a comment on COL460, our Disney March Madnessy kind of show, and it's from Fur and Teeth, and he said, "It's not rude. LOL. I had a spot too, and loved the site for years, but this new thing killed it. Not hating. Plus, how does blunt equal rude? LOL. Silly cuz. P.S. Lion King hand that shit hands down."
I think that's
So
we had that shit hands down, but
Yeah.
I read it.
but basically he's
sure.
digging at me for thinking that his original comment from the previous show was rude. Well, fine.
Oh.
Yeah, I
Anyway.
think that I just think that it's the nature of things where, you know, it's hard to understand when you read stuff and it's not in context and that kind of thing.
Right, because I'm reading this comment, and I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? And now I remember
Right.
the previous week he made a comment about Bear Underground.
Well,
Got it.
that's like James Martin. He's like, fuck, this is bloody hilarious. And I'm like, what was bloody hilarious? I don't remember.
Everything.
Of course.
Well, you have to re-listen to the show apparently.
I've already lived it once. I usually go back and listen once it airs live just in case there's a tech issue. So I'm kind of done. But who knows? Chester, what about in tweets and tumbles?
Over in the Twitter sphere, we have a couple new followers. C Tacky7, a certain Vince Dragolin,
Who could that be?
Justice _Cofield, Capdul 0702 3176, Andre 2475 0086, and Elna Jose. And I do check our followers, and they look like legitimate accounts.
Cool.
Just
So
in
they're
case
not-
they,
I would.
Bots.
So
they don't look
I would
like
hope-
bots.
I would just
I
suggest
would hope
to
this
people with-
Dragolin isn't.
No. I'm sure
I have a
it is.
feeling Vince is a recent Twitter user, or I don't know, for some reason has jumped on that. So
And for Kabdul and Andre, or however you pronounce your names, you can change that shit because, I mean, those numbers after your name is like 1990s, 2000s.
Well, I have a feeling is they live in a area of the world that does not exactly allow for gay men to be out.
There you go.
Oh, so they would create a
Well-
name that doesn't have any attachment or anything.
Well, like-
so.
Exactly.
like my Twitter handle is Box Puppy, so that sort of thing.
Yeah, and people can find you.
Right, but you probably choose to go by that everywhere, where you may choose random names for all sorts of different things that don't match anywhere, so you can't be discovered or found.
Followed.
Personally, think it's kind of tacky. Anyways.
Well,
but that's just
anyway.
me. It's fine.
Tumblr followers.
Over on Tumblr, we have Bear Bulge, Cliff Jumper Jr., and Bourbon Bear.
Ooh, who
We
be
also
Bourbon
have-
Bear? Sorry.
We also
Well, no, because
have
I know a bunch of them.
not a bear who drinks bourbon. Well, I mean, he probably is a bear who drinks bourbon, but anyway.
Well, he says
we
he's
also have
barrel aged.
We also have a Tumblr comment from Faffy Waffle 518 in regards to the COL460 Disney bracket challenge that we did.
Mhm.
And he says, "You guys are awesome. Thanks for the shout out. And yes, I made it through the bullshit or whatever smiley emoticon. My favorite Disney movie is The Aristocats. So yeah."
Love the Aristocats.
Oh. Yeah. Thanks for the love.
Yeah, it's nothing against the Aristocats. I'm just really surprised I can, go that far.
It's a very it's an interesting movie. I haven't seen it in a long time.
One of my
But when
favorites also
maybe I'll sit down and watch it again.
was The Great Mouse Detective a Disney movie?
No,
Oh,
that was Paramount.
I really like that one too, but not
Like-
Disney.
Right. No, to give an example, there's like stuff you might think of, but you're not sure where it fits. Is like Secret of Nim is one of my all-time favorite animated films, but it's not related to Disney or Pixar at all. Even though people kind of think,
Same for like American Tail.
Actually, The Great Mouse Detective is a Disney film.
It is.
oh, it is.
Oh,
Yeah, 1986, produced by Walt Disney Feature Animation and released by Walt Disney Pictures.
I love that movie.
I'm trying to think of what movie you're thinking. There's a movie that was very similar to it that I think came out by Paramount, but I can't remember the name of it right now off the top of my head. But anyway, that's one of those things that I was like, oh shit. Anyway. Only reason I know I remembered is because my family was exclusively like we only watched Disney's films. So it was one of my that's one of the ones I remember. I remember seeing it.
I was watching Porky's at 12.
While Damon does a spit take, this is my not surprised face.
I do remember
Can we
there
please,
was one time.
please call it a tallywhacker? Penis is so. Anyway, let's move on, or I will quote the whole fucking movie.
All right. So I'm gonna do this, and then I'll leave the stage because I really probably have no input on this. But it is time for Bear Experience Action Readiness.
It's not wise to upset a Wookiee.
I did that.
Okay.
Because it's solo or not.
I got it.
Thank you.
Whoa,
Thank you.
that was a reach.
Thank you.
Oh, I got that one when you. Oh, good one. Good one.
Thank you.
Good one. That's a good one.
Anyways. So
Bad
Gary,
pun. Anyways.
hand it to you, Gary.
Yeah. So it's our Bear series, Bear Experience Action Readiness. So because a Bear Run is coming up and we kind of talk about things that relate to going to Bear events. So this one is called Solo or Not. Here's the premise. Go into an event. Do you fly solo, basically, do your own thing, or do you go with other people? And if you go with other people, who do you go with? Do you go with like besties? Do you go with like friends with benefits? Do you go with your, Mean Girls posse?
Significant other.
Yeah, true. Your significant other, your, boyfriend, fiance, husbands, husbears, like, the list goes on and on. So first question, is it better to travel to a bear function or event by yourself or with others? Is kind of what I'm wondering, and pros and cons of that. Do we think about, and this is just traveling, like getting to said function. So,
Oh, just traveling to the function? I would definitely say that it is better to travel with at least one other person. This is coming from somebody who used to live in North Dakota, and I would drive to Hibernation or Midwest Bear Fest or NAB, Drenched Fur. I would drive to these things. It is fucking boring. So it was pleasant to have, shortly after we moved here and I went to Hibernation, it was a nice change to have met up with Sprinkle Bear in Lexington, and we drove to St. Louis together.
Okay.
It made the time fly by, because the great thing about it is Sprinkle and I got to catch up and do our socializing on the road trip. So when we actually got there, it meant that we didn't necessarily have to spend time with each other there.
Yeah.
It allowed us to have free time.
So to you, Chester, having a travel companion to get to the destination, that's the pro, because you get, kiki time, basically. You get to have a chat, catch up on things, and you kind of get a lot of that out of the way. So once you get there, if you don't want to be together or have other plans or whatever, you can just go your separate ways. And
and Sprinkle and I still did things together at Hibernation. Like we went to dinner together and hung out at various places. But it just meant that I didn't have to make sure, because whenever I go to a run, I have a mental list of, these are the people I know that are going to be here. These are the people I want to make sure I see and hang out with. And it was good that I could check Sprinkle off of those lists, because I knew that I had 7 hours in the car with him on the way there, 7 hours back. So if I didn't see him during the run, it wasn't a big deal.
Right. Yeah, you would have had an opportunity to catch up, or Kiki or Kai. Yeah.
He does drive a Kia Soul, and they are roomy.
And there is such a thing as roadhead. Anyways.
Anyway,
Damon.
So as the person who does not drive, I am pretty much always traveling with someone, unless I am flying. So the pros for me in regards to like traveling with someone are usually that I agree with Chester, that you get a companion, you have someone to kind of make the trip a little entertaining. However, I do have a con to traveling with people. And the con is you now have people you have to either wait on or rely on to do things. So if, for example, and I'll just use this, you're going to an event and you want to leave and you're ready and packed and are sitting there waiting to go, but you're not the one that's driving, the other person is driving, for example. You have to wait for them to come get you. So while you're ready and excited about the event, your energy is up and you're like, oh, I'm ready and I want to go and I'm excited. You still have to wait for that other person to get there. So if they take a while, if they take a few hours, I had one couple of trips that I've gone on where our driver was delayed for for different reasons, and unfortunately that meant that everything was delayed, and it got to the point of frustration and anger, because I feel like it's that missing out part of it, because we're not there yet. We haven't even arrived yet, and hours and time is drifting away. The time to spend with other people, that's behind to hang out with other friends, to meet new people, is starting to dwindle as I wait to get to the event. So again, if you are traveling with someone, be respectful of the person or people who are driving or taking responsibility of going, because everyone's time is valuable. Everyone's time is important. So yeah, if you want to go to the event, then you set a time to, like, okay, we're going to leave at 12 o'clock. Then that's the time you should leave. Like, everything has kind of been planned around that time. And if you don't do that, then everything kind of gets delayed even further and further and further. So that's one of my only cons, is that you did have to wait for people. And I try, as the usually eternal passenger, I try to make sure that I am ready when someone arrives to come get me, or we've set the time and I know I'm supposed to be ready. I tried my best to be as close to ready as possible, if not completely ready by the time they get there. Because I want to be like, let's, put my shit in the car, or let's, I'm just hopping in the car and we're going. Right. So that's my only kind of con for that. Same as when you're leaving said event, if they want to do something, but you're ready, your drivers are needing to leave, you should probably leave with the drivers.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you that there's a courtesy aspect to when you are a guest in the traveling situation. So, like, Drew and I have traveled a lot together, and we kind of trade off on who drives for what event, basically. So whoever's leading, the other one kind of becomes the co-pilot. And of course, there's always the rule when you're driving about, usually it's the person that driving has control of the radio. So,
which is on Cups Out Loud podcast.
Choose wisely. All that kind of stuff. No. So, but yeah, like if you've got a timetable and stuff, like Damon, we picked you up on the way to NAB and back. So, it's one of those, like, be aware that people got things to do at certain times or whatever. And if you're not with people who are probably like me, which are more planners and, organizers and type A's or whatever, and they're very laid back, just if you're cool with that, then cool, just kind of be aware that if you have a plan to do things, you might want to pass that along if you think that things aren't really going to go, like, I don't know, you might already have a trick lined up for your dance card as soon as you arrive at the hotel. So, and you don't need to spill all the tea and tell me that. I mean, well,
but yeah. I also think it's best to, we've mentioned friends and partners and whatever. I think you should definitely know who you're traveling with, unless you have made, alternate plans. Well, like, I know a lot of people with going to like Claw and other events tend to like, get in carpools and whatever and go together, and they may not necessarily know said people. Try to get a little bit of knowledge about them beforehand, just a little bit, because you never know what's going to happen. And so
I have something to say about that.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, okay.
So y'all remember what run was it? Midwest Bear Fest with a certain gentleman and getting fists thrown at him. That particular person had asked me for a ride to Midwest Bear Fest, and he messaged me via Growler. And just completely out of the blue, and here's this profile with like not a lot of information on it or a picture, and I'm like, yeah, I think it might be best if we meet first. And I'm so glad we did, because shortly after he left, Evan was like, I've got reservations about that guy. I don't know if I really want to ride in a car with him for that long. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of don't blame you. Thankfully, the guy backed out and he found his own ride, or I don't even know. But I'm glad it worked out the way it did, because after seeing him and his behavior at the run, I wasn't about ready to give the guy a ride back.
Girl.
So I will say this, and this is my personal opinion. I'm not trying to advocate for all y'all, but if a complete stranger asks me for something, I'm immediately going to have a little bit of a defense and be like, who you? How do I, like, do I know you? Do I not know you? Who knows you that I know that knows you? Because otherwise, like, I don't know what your story is. And we live, regrettably, in an age where not nice things happen. I mean, look at what happened in Canada, in Montreal, with that whole case of that guy that was basically now going away for life for cruising guys in an app and unfortunately murdering them. I mean, that's horrible stuff. And that's why I'm like, No, like,
Yeah.
if somebody was to contact me, and this is the way I look at it, if a person contacts me and I don't know them, but they're friends with both of you, Damon and Chester, then I'm like, all right, I know these two. They're like family. Like, we're good. I'll probably reach out to you and be like, who dat? Like,
Yeah, you need to vet those people.
right. And it's like, what's the story? Do they put out? Like, I don't know what's going on. No, I'm kidding. But no, I mean, and then like Drew said, communication is key. And he said about it's best to try to sync your schedules and expectations before arriving at the event, which I think is perfect because I think that's why he and I get along so well. Even though we have different personal agendas, there is some overlap. So we kind of figure out like where we're going to check in with each other if we're going to do something together, like if we're going to have a meal, or we're going to go to the bar, go have a drink, or and that's whether or not we actually travel together or we're both at the same event, or whether we're rooming together, that kind of stuff. So I think there are pros and cons. Now, for me, I've spent a lot of events going on my own. Like, I just drive myself and I drive back. Sometimes people carpool with me or vice versa, and that works. I find if I drive by myself or travel by myself, it gives me a lot of time to think, which is probably dangerous. But I get to prepare myself and think about like what's going to happen during the weekend. And I try to make sure I don't get weird with my expectations. Like, that I don't want to be unrealistic or think that certain things are going to happen and then they don't, and then you get upset. So I try to be more like, well, I'm looking forward to seeing so-and-so, and maybe I'll get a chance to hang out. And here's a very kind of loose general idea. Now, I know that's laughable because anybody who knows me knows that I probably put a fucking itinerary together, but because I just want to make sure that I have it written down, like, or in an app or calendar or something like that, because that's just the way I am. But but I also see the other side. I've traveled with friends, and anybody who's traveled with me kind of knows there's a lot of talking. Like, unless I'm tired or focused or weirdly,
anybody who's been in the same room as you.
I was gonna say that's rude, but it's truth. So here's the thing though, is like, especially like, I'll talk about this. A couple years ago for NAB, it was an all Drenched Fur committee car. That wasn't the entire committee, but all the people in the vehicle that I was driving was all on the committee. So we were talking about the event we were going to, which was NAB, and how we're excited and everything. And then the whole ride home was us talking about what just went down at the event. And because it was before Drenched Fur, there was all of this natural comparative, like, they did that this way, and we were thinking of this way, and do we like this idea, and blah, 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 and so I really liked that, but I could see where some other people be like,
what the fuck?
Like, no, maybe like, girl, really? Like, I know already one thing that I'm known for is always talking about the event. Awkwardly, 'cause it starts on Thursday. But I mean, it's 14 years now. It's a huge chunk of my life. And, this year, the committee literally spent like, 8 months of the year planning it every 2 weeks, having a phone call, having a meeting, conference call, so it's a lot of stuff to put time and energy into. So it makes sense that it's kind of relative to that. But I've also talked about, other things. So to me, there's pros and cons either way, to be by yourself or travel with folks.
I think one of the best things for traveling, especially as I learned traveling to NAB with you and Drew, is that it's the camaraderie is really good. Like, having that like funny like conversation, like we're just to kind of chill and relax. It makes the ride less, depending on how long it is, it makes the ride less arduous a task to go through. Like, if we were traveling much longer, I think we could have filled the time and had a lot more things to do.
Well, I mean, like, it was only an hour and 15. It wasn't very long at all from Cincinnati to get to NAB. And the time just flew by. Like, I forget how close it is to get there. So, because I'm coming all the way from Erie. So when we picked you up, David, I was like, all right, we got the last leg of the trip. And it was like, and we got, music playing in the car, and we're busy jamming and singing along or whatever. And then all of a sudden I was like, we're at the hotel. And I was like, damn, like, so there was a part of me that's like, I kind of wish I lived in Southern Ohio. Not really quite, but no, it was just one of those things that I get where long distances of travel can definitely also have a kind of a certain experience on you, like getting to and coming from. So Yep.
The only other thing that I want to mention as a con to writing with other people is the amount of people that you're writing with. Because I don't know. I have to think about this. When I went to Midwest Bear Fest, there were 4 of us in the car. It was myself, Evan, Chris Hauser, and Zio. And that was fine. All 4 of us fit, but all 4 of us were in my Wrangler. And I had to pack the back end of it full of my photography gear because that was part of what I was doing when I was going there. And I told the other guys, I'm like, just so you know, you can ride with me. Totally on board with that. But my photography gear has got to fit. So that goes in first. And if there's no more room, you're holding your bag. And they were like, okay. And it ended up being that they did have to put 2 bags in between Zio and Chris Hauser in the back seat. So,
well, I mean, Damon, when we picked you up in Cincinnati, I had all this, no, not crap, but I had the stuff for Drenched Fur because we were sponsoring and doing some stuff. And so it's like you got luggage and then I got some stuff, my personal, electronics and all that. So we get to David's to pick him up. It's already Drew and I, and we show up and I see your bags. I'm not going to lie, girl. And I was like, oh boy. Like, I think I even said something to you like, is all that going? Because you have luggage and I'm more like totes, like or not totes, but tote bag, travel kind of bag or whatever, not formal luggage.
Tote sack.
Yeah, so it was cracking me up because I was like, and of course, God bless Drew. He's like, to him it was Tetris. He was like, oh, I think it'll fit, and I'm like, and I'm like, it might be a little tight in the car, So my dad was a moving truck driver, like for Ally Van Lines and other companies like that. So that's just one of my things about spatial. So we played with it and figured out how to pack
we got it all fuck in there. It was probably like hanging on like the side, literally like in the back But
it was also a short ride. I mean, it was only just over an hour. So it's not like we were trying to go to Iowa, which is what I thought you were kind of referring to, Chester, where when they came to NAB, they rented a van, like a 15 passenger fucking van, and like 12 of them pack into it. And all I kept thinking is, that's a lot of bodies. That's a lot of flatulence and like sneezing and coughing and like just
you're in a sardine can. Yeah. I was thinking about that too, that when the guys from Iowa make their trek from Iowa to Kentucky, they all pack into that big ass conversion van. It's 15 passengers, but we're talking about bears here. They take up space. And they've got all their shit with them, and they're going to a leather run, so it's not like I'm just going to throw a couple changes of clothes in a, gym bag. It is, I need a big-ass piece of luggage because I've got my kilt, I got my floggers, I got my paddles, I got my swing that I can break down.
Yeah, like that'll be the thing. Like, and that's the other thing I try to do. So this one was NAB was the exception, I will own. I wasn't 100% sure about like how much space was going to be available. I'd forgotten that you had an event and that you would have been like, had to, have stuff there. So had I known that, I would have planned accordingly. However, if I try to be, again, usually I am respectful. If I'm riding with someone, I usually ask, how much space do I have? Can I bring a bag or 2 or 3 or 4? And I just didn't this time because I like to know ahead of time so I can go, okay, all right, let me condense because I can, if I need to, condense.
And to be fair, just so the audience is aware, Damon coming with Drew and I was circumstantial because of the vehicle situation that had changed for you. You and Jim had plans, like it was all, and it was not very last minute, but it was just within a day or two. And it was like, and that's how it came down to making it work. And that's where, I had because of the sponsorship of the party, it's like I had all this stuff and the tote and like, and it's one of those things, like I recognize that, it's like, girl, you can edit. Like, you can. You don't have to take the cooler with the full bar, or maybe you do. Yeah. Also, so next question is, what about rooming? So you get to the event or come from the event. Should you share with friends or be greedy and bunk up alone?
Okay. Go ahead, Chester. You go, Chester. Go ahead.
Well, I've got lots and lots to say about it. So I'm just going to start with a lot of the things that we discussed with carpooling with somebody can be applied here too. For example, my point about you are already in your car with that person for that amount of time. It's okay if you don't hang out with them at the run because you're rooming with them. So eventually your paths are going to cross. I had always roomed with KJ when we were still together, and we went to bear runs together. But once we broke up and I was going to bear runs, even if we went together, this is during our transition period, we typically got our own rooms. And that was nice to an extent. But one year at Tidal Wave, I decided to get a roommate. And I'm glad I did because I got to, it was somebody that I had vetted through friends, but I didn't know them personally. I'd never really talked to them before, except for, oh, hey, by the way, we're sharing a room. And I really got to know them, and it really helped me get to know them as a person, and it was a good experience for me. And ever since then, I haven't really minded taking on a roommate. But I have very specific reasons why I may want one or may not. But I'll let you guys go ahead and go, and then I will follow up with all that.
So, okay. So for me, usually, unless it's my partner, I am very, very hesitant to room with other people. And the main reason is it's a totally different dynamic. You never know what you're getting. And whereas riding in a car with someone, may be friends with, if you're going to a room, rooming with someone to an event or a bear run or what have you, you didn't have to deal with their schedule, their potential drama, their emotions and what have you. I loved in the past when I went to Midwest Bear Fest, I used to get a room by myself. And the main reason I got a room by myself is because Jim isn't always able to go. And when I go to Midwest, I like to have the freedom to come in a room and go into the room with or without someone else at my leisure. When you have a roommate, you have to deal with, okay, well, if someone's in the room, if they need to use the room, et cetera, et cetera. So, and while I don't mind, I've had roommates, and while I like it sometimes it can be a little much. If I'm in a bad mood, which has happened, I don't like to, I like to have my time by myself. I need to process my emotions and get them out of the way so I can move on to the next thing. If I can't do that because there's someone else in the room or whatever, it's a lot harder for me to get through and digest those emotions and those feelings. So I would love to have room by myself if necessary. However, I've often dealt with and NAB was different. NAB was I was rooming by myself because Jim couldn't go, and it was a different feeling. I kind of missed having someone else there because it's one, NAB is such a big run. There's so many people there, but we're all kind of mostly strangers. You have some friends that but most of the people there you don't know at all. And it would have been nice to have had a familiarity that I could just go to in a room if I needed it. So like, you know, other than that, like I have this weird dichotomy about it. Like I love like having my own space and having my alone time, but sometimes you want someone else there to kind of help you out when you need it.
No, that makes sense.
No, I'm giggling at that line because somebody had said something to that effect to me one time as a roommate. Hey, you want to help me out over here? And I'm like, okay.
Twist my arm. Never mind.
Twist my nipple.
Yeah, so for me, most of the time, now that I think back on it, most events, mathematically over the years now, I have shared rooms. But I am going to own, I mostly share rooms with people I know. There has only been 1 year that I absolutely shared a room with people I did not know. And that was really going outside of myself because I shared my room that I privately had with 3 other people. So now there was 4 of us in the room. And I put faith in the one person out of the 3 that I knew, like online, sort of not really that much in person. And it worked out pretty well. Yeah. But it was it was kind of a test to me. And then, you know, it kind of showed me like, while it wasn't perfect, great the whole time, it wasn't a disaster. So I like my own time when I like my time. And that was the problem I was going to have because I'm an only child. I am independent and I like doing my shit when I do my shit, how I do my shit, where I do my, like, it's all just me. So sharing with people is not exactly at the forefront of my concept. And that includes a room at an event.
Yeah. And I will say this, I have to have a bigger amount of trust in the person to room with them. So I'm not going to room with a stranger. I've seen that was one of my issues that I was having with NAB. Like I saw people looking for rooms and looking for spaces, and I knew by like Wednesday-ish that I was going to be technically rooming by myself. And in my head, I thought, well, I should probably, maybe share the room with someone. And I was like, well, no, I don't know half of these people that are saying they need a room. And I would feel weird just without any kind of conversation, any kind of like vetting, as it were, to just room with someone, to just make that commitment. I don't know you. I don't know if it's going to be Sunday morning and you're going to be you're literally going to be running out of the hotel room before the bill arrives. I don't know that. So, yeah. So I would probably room with like you guys. I would probably room with a few of our friends that we know, because I feel like I have enough trust in them and know them enough to where I don't see that being a problem. Now, again, schedules, communication would be a big thing. If you want your alone time, then by all means, a lot of things I feel need to be mentioned in advance. Friends, roommates, whatever, things really need to be like talked about. Any kind of like, if you're going to have someone in the room, if that's going to be a thing, then we need to have a signal or something so that we can know that the room may not be available, or we set something along the lines that you can come in, but you literally have to come in, get your shit, and get out, kind of thing.
No, I understand. You're like,
yeah,
like you can come in, but you can't party here.
Yeah.
So for me, like I said, I went from rooming with my boyfriend to rooming alone. Rooming alone is great because of what Damon mentioned, that when you need downtime or time for yourself, or if you want to bring somebody back to your room, that's always a plus. Like I don't know how many times I've been in a run and been like, you know what, I need to check out from all this and just go chill in my room. And I go in my room and I always take a Bluetooth speaker with me, turn that on, put on some calming music, and I will take a nap or cruise the apps. It's nice to be able to, while you're at a run and you're getting friendly with a guy, to say, hey, my room's free.
Hey, to the man to that shit.
Yep. They're like, oh, hey, because you never know what that other person's rooming situation is going to be like. They may have 3 other people in their room, and they're probably chances are good that they're going to say, I would, but I think my roommate's in it, because countless times that has happened to me. One of the main reasons why I tend to not get a roommate, particularly if I am there to do photos, like I did at Midwest Bear Fest. Evan knew that I was going to be doing photography in my room, and I told him, I'm like, we've got a room with 2 double beds. I'm just giving you a heads up right now that I'm tearing out one of the beds. It's going to be shoved up against a wall, and we're not going to have access to it because I'm setting up a studio there. And he's like, oh, okay. And other than it being kind of a cluttered mess in my room because of that, I don't really give a shit. So even if I did have somebody back to the room and they see all that, hopefully they're smart enough to realize, oh, that's because there's a bed that was there, which is now up against the wall. And so no, it worked out well for me. Evan had said that we were talking to a gentleman that we had met today. He came with us to Isle of Dogs, and we were talking about bear runs, and Evan had mentioned that we went to Midwest Bear Fest, and he would have normally stayed in the room and not socialized much, but he's like, Chester kind of kicked me out of the room because he was doing photos for people. And I'm like, well, I didn't really kick him out. He was welcome to stay there. And then Evan was like, it ended up being a good thing because I went out and I socialized with people, and I forced myself to go out and do things, and he got to hang out with different groups of people, which he was grateful for. So there's that. I will say that if I am doing photos in my room, I will not have a roommate that I don't impeccably trust, because my photography gear is fucking expensive, and I can't have any of that stuff be walking off. I don't think the person that would be rooming with me would take it, but I don't know who they're going to be bringing back to the room.
Exactly.
Who might take it.
Yeah.
Well, and that's like, in the live chat, Chuck was like, knowing the person you're rooming with is required for him. He's like, they're going to have access to your stuff. And that's one of my precautionary measures. Just like if I'm rooming with, someone that's a good friend of mine, I trust that if for some reason they got to move my things or, get into it, there's a legitimate reason. And if they bring somebody back to the room, they're keeping an eye on them. So my stuff don't get up and walk away, or who knows what might happen,
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah. So the rooming thing, it's, there's pluses and minuses, pros and cons to like whether you're sharing with people or whether, you're going to be by yourself. There's only been once, I think, in all the years now of going to events that I had a time that I just needed to not. And I wasn't able to, in the moment, understand what was happening with me. And I was like withdrawing and trying to disengage. And it just wasn't making sense. And luckily, I had good friends that were like, they're like, are you okay? Like, because apparently I have a normal version of my personality and it was not happening. So people were like, something's wrong. And they were concerned, but it was, coming from a place to live where they were like, and what it come down to was I just needed to be alone. I just needed to process and work through some things by myself. And when you're with a group of people, that can be difficult, especially if you're rooming. But that's where the rooming can be helpful if it's with people that you know. So you can say to them and be like, listen, I need to go by myself. I need to go take a walk, or can I have the room for, like a half hour, an hour, whatever. And this isn't about, brown chicken, brown cow fun. It's just, I need to like kind of shut the doors, close the windows, turn everything off, and just kind of get centered or whatever. Which leads to the next question.
Go ahead.
How do we plan solo self-care versus group involvement? Now, before y'all get it twisted, I was not intending sexy time, but that could be part B if that's how you want to take this.
So
I took it a sexy time.
So solo self-care. That kind of.
You know what? I honestly think that a lot of the times when you're at a run, that people need to really think about what they want when they do their self-care. I know for me, there's a lot of the times where it isn't so much that I want to be removed from all the people that are around me. A lot of the times I want to be removed from the noise. Case in point, NAB. The DJ who was in the pool party had that music so damn loud in there. I wanted to socialize. I was all ready to go down there, flirt with people, hang out, meet people. Couldn't do it because can't hear a goddamn thing. And I'm not going to scream at the top of my lungs when somebody's 2 inches away from me and then have them respond, scream back at me, and me stand there going, yep, because I have no idea what they actually said to me. So in that case, I'm like, well, what the hell do? I still want to socialize. Go walk around somewhere else and try and find people to hang out with. That was really long-winded, but my point was self-care isn't just removing yourself from that particular environment and closing yourself off to everything and anyone. That is one way to do self-care.
Yeah.
But another way could be, you know what? This dance atmosphere with all this music going on is taking its toll on me, and I need to do some self-care. And if that self-care is removing yourself from that environment, putting yourself into another environment, say sitting in the lounge at the hotel with other people, and it's a quiet environment, or maybe stumbling upon people playing board games because it's a quiet environment and you're still being social.
Yeah. Like, I agree with you, Chester. Like, for me, usually I have two forms of self-care. I have I need to like totally like eject from everything and like find a space that I can recenter myself, or I need something away from something else. Like just to get away, get away from point A by going to point B. I enjoy, one of the things I like about the hotel environment at NAB and at Midwest Bear Fest is that it always seems to be pretty, open, and there's always like there's atriums, there's centralized locations where people gather, and just like not necessarily to like hook up or play dance music or whatever. It's just like they're sitting there talking, or they're playing games, or they're just, relaxing. And I enjoy those times because I know that's going to be there, and I can just go, oh, I see my friend, I see Gary down there, chit-chatting with someone. I can go and talk to him for a second, or go see what he's up to, and, chill for a minute without having to deal with all the music or all of this that's happening somewhere else. On the flip of that, there will come a time, and I think everyone has those moments where they just need to check out for a moment, whether it's everything's getting to be a little bit overwhelming, you're dealing with an emotional, stressful situation, anything like that. And that could mean taking some time and, finding something that you can do to yourself, for yourself. It could be, and I know it sounds crass, but it can just be as simple as taking a shower. Something where you're not necessarily dealing with anything like that. I had Midwest was a different story. NAB was a different. I had a lot of weird things come up that I hadn't expected to come up during NAB, and I had a moment where I was like, "Holy shit, what the hell's going on?" Like, I'm feeling weird. I don't know what this is. So I was in the room by myself. I didn't have anything else, and I was thinking of literally like just staying in the room for the rest of the night because I didn't want to do anything. I was out of like sorts, and I was like, I just need to I didn't want to do anything at all. And I was like, you know what? No, don't do that. So instead, I was like, you know what? Clean yourself up. So I took a shower. I went in the bathroom and I took a shower, and I took a nice long hot shower. And well, not hot because the water wasn't that great, but pretty hot. Pretty hot.
It's a bear run at a hotel.
Yeah. So but it was good to kind of quote unquote cleanse. It was a moment of decompression for me, and I took the shower. I got out of the shower, and I felt much better than I did when I stepped in. So yeah. Now,
and it's funny that you mentioned that, or ironic that you mentioned that, Damon, about like the just go take a shower kind of thing and debating on whether or not you want to go out. Mm-hmm. I have, and it's more when I have roomed by myself where I've been like, nope, just don't want to. And that's okay. And it's interesting because like, I think a lot of people will be surprised to hear, at least you and me, say, it's all right to be like, you don't have to do everything. You don't have to do the big whatever. Mm-hmm. Like AJ Purdue was saying, he's like, you do you, like whatever is best for you and makes you happy, so if you're not going to go to the dance, you're not going to go to, the bar function or whatever. No, I totally get that.
I like running into people that were playing board games, like Gabriel and a couple of other people, just like on Friday, Saturday night, were just like sitting there playing the board game. I didn't end up sitting down, but I was, it would have been nice to, I went back at some point and was like, oh, I knew that they were going to be there probably for a while because they were playing games and chatting and whatnot. So it's one of those things to kind of know. So that's the group aspect of it. One of my best memories from NAB is actually going to get pizza at Sir Pizza, and just like
that was fun.
It wasn't have anything to do with the run. It was just a bunch of us kind of there.
You're absolutely right about that, because and those are moments that I look forward to myself, because these people that I'm going to dinner with are people that I want to have time with. Mm-hmm. It is why I'm here, is to socialize and spend time with certain people. Mm-hmm. And it allows you to be able to do that. And you're right. That was a highlight of my NAB moment, or NAB weekend, was going to Sir Pizza.
I mean, it was fun as hell. And crackhead and all. Yeah. But I mean, everything,
it was entertaining.
It was the good part about it was the fact that it was a chance, like you said, it was a chance to kind of connect with people that you really wanted to connect to. It was that whole, like, it was a good vibe. It was a good group. We were having fun. We were enjoying ourselves. And there wasn't a, like, stress about, oh, we need to go to this, or, oh, we're waiting to go to that, or da-da-da. It was just a good moment to just kind of chill. And I mean, hell, we were there for a few hours, if I'm not mistaken. And
yeah, I'd say we were there for probably 2.
Yeah.
But and the other thing about it is those are moments that we shared. Our little group, our little collective of, it was the 5 of us. Those are our memories that we are the only ones at NAB who got to have pizza with a crackhead in the bathroom. Nobody else gets to have that but us.
Yeah.
Not jealous. For the record, between the two of you and me, because I was at the event, not jealous.
It's not so much about having that experience. It's more about having that inside joke.
Yeah.
Because we'll be able to go to some other run and we'll make a joke like, this pizza place is okay, but it doesn't have a crackhead in the bathroom.
Yeah. And other things too, like I had some, and this goes to last NAB and this NAB, I had some one-on-one time with people that I wouldn't have normally had because we're not in the same, space, except for like a rare run or an event. And it was nice to have those kind of conversations, just have a conversation, again, separate from the event itself, to just kind of connect with someone who normally I probably would not have. AJ's a perfect example of that. I got to talk to him at Midwest and NAB and really got to know him. And that was really, really, it meant a lot to me because it was just a good time to have connect with someone who I normally haven't had much conversations or interactions with until recently. Hell, I think I met him for the first time officially at Midwest, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, yes, on the podcast, but I mean in person.
Right.
And I've had connections with other people that way, and these are not, these are like connecting, conversations, friendly kind of things, not the like connecting sexually kind of thing.
Yeah, I think people need to know that there is such a thing as self-care that falls in those two categories, solo or group, because you get something from being around people. It's going to sound awful. It's not meant this way, but you get stimulated. You have conversations. You get to hang out with them. And that's what a human experience is. It's interacting with other individuals. But then there's also understandably, it can be overwhelming. There could be a point where you're just kind of like, I'm out, no more. I can't, I'm overstimulated. I can't spend more time with more people, whether it be because of drama or their personality types. Some people are just loud. And that's really a complaint. It's just maybe not your thing. And I see that all the time at these events. I kind of get asked about that with our event. That's the one critical question that's so difficult to answer. Because to me, it's very tricky. People are like, am I going to have fun at your event? I'm like, oh, maybe.
It's up to you. Yes. That's your destiny.
Well, it is in a way. I mean, we, as the people that put on events, it's kind of like if I was asked Damon, if I go to the, to the chorus concert, am I going to like it? Well, yes. It depends.
No, I'm sorry.
Well, no,
I bored. I have to. No, kidding.
I understand.
I tell people all the time. I've said it on this particular podcast many, many times before. It is not the run's responsibility to ensure that you have a good time. That's all you.
Yeah.
It is the run's responsibility to create opportunities for you to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, that's kind of like, it's not within my power or within, I don't even want this, to make sure that you get to have, a DNA exchange with another person. However, could that happen? Is there an opportunity?
Definitely.
Yeah, because we're not telling you where to go and when to be and what to do and stuff like that. Not that I think many events do, but I can see where. And so that's why I tell people there's so many variables at play. And I think the best thing to know about is that all the options are options. So you could spend time by yourself. You could spend time with others. You could travel by yourself, travel with others, room, all of it. It's fair game. It's what's best for you whether you really need that,
Yeah.
independency, so to speak.
Agreed. My kind of final thought is, sometimes the always make sure that you know what you need. I know that sounds weird, but like if you want to spend time with people, spend time with people. If you want time by yourself, spend time by yourself. If you need a little combination of both, do that. An event is going to have that opportunity. I know people who spend the money on a run and don't do half of the run itself. They go because they know friends are going to be there, and they want to see those friends and hang out with those friends, and they go and do things. Like you guys at Midwest, for example, we went to that deli that I had never been to before, and that was great. It wasn't part of the run. It was just an opportunity to go out and experience a new place, food place, and enjoy each other. Without it wasn't within the confines of the run and the event itself. It's just that we all happen to be in the same space, and let's all go have lunch or whatever. And we know this really great place, and it's like, sure. One of the things like with like Claw's coming up here in a couple of weeks, and the thing that Jim and I are going together. Jim and I will be teaching a couple of classes together. Other than that, I've not made any specific plans except other than like maybe going to a couple of the events and I'm going to maybe a few other classes. Other than that, I am trying to keep myself open to whatever the event provides. Whether that means meeting someone else and having fun, whether that fun is, sexy fun times, or going to dinner, or what have you, are experiencing some things that I kind of feel like I need to experience.
Right. Yeah, I think what each of us does is the best that you can do for you. And I hope that this type of a show gives you some ideas about what is possible in terms of like planning or what it is that you can do when you're there. And the last thing I wanted to say was there was a comment in the live chat about it would help if they have newcomer session for those that are going to an event for the first time, which isn't so much about solo or not, but actually it is in a way, and I'll tie it together. When you go to like a new attendee orientation type stuff, if they have that at an event, you get to find out who else hasn't been there before. So this isn't about, right, exactly. This isn't so much about the new meat thing. This is about, oh, hey, look, like this person also is here for the first time. That's pretty cool. Like that we can kind of navigate the land together. And,
right, you guys can learn about the run together. You just sparked a good point for me to make in some aspects, I guess. When I took Evan to Tidal Wave, I told him these are the things that will most likely happen.
Mm-hmm.
These are the things that will probably happen. These are the things that will definitely happen. But for the most part, go there with an open mind. Take it all in. If you have questions, ask me. I will tell you what I think about it or why something happens the way it does. But for the most part, I wanted him to experience his first bear run with his own view and not my view of what that run is like. Because I've been going there for a few years. So my idea of the bear run is going to be different than his. And I wanted to make sure that what he got out of it was his experience and not living vicariously through me in my shadow the whole weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I try and do that whenever somebody asks me about, well, what makes this run so great? I'm like, well, it's going to be different for everybody, but this is what makes it good for me. and then I list things, and I try and do that with anybody who asks about any run that I'm familiar with. If I'm not familiar with it, I'll just be like, well, I believe it's similar to this one over here.
Right. I think you bring up a really good point, Chester, that I hadn't considered, which is about if someone new is coming with you or going to be hanging with you or whatever, that you are going to influence their experience if you kind of plan things for them. So, like, for example, the food show that Drew and I have gone to in Cleveland in November for years, we have like new people sometimes that comes with us. And most of those know when they come along, like, we're planners, we do an itinerary. And so far we've been pretty blessed, like, that, you know, they're friends and stuff. And they're like, I'm good with whatever, like, y'all just take me. And that works really well. But I can see where that's really influencing their, like, interactions and that kind of stuff. So it's a different kind of a aspect, different event. But I see where you're getting that. Yeah, like for Evan, you didn't really want to, you know, kind of shade everything, that he has a certain expectation, and then, you know, who knows what happens when it comes to that stuff.
I didn't want to set him up and tell him, oh yeah, by the way, you're going to show up and you're going to have all the sex you can handle, because I don't know for a fact if that's going to be how it would be. Now, granted, Evan is who he is, and while the possibility for him to do that was there, because the amount of people that would come up to me, your boyfriend's so hot, are you guys open? And I'd be like, yes, now get away from me. Because they were fishing for him, not me.
Yeah, that's my usual thing. I agree.
All right,
I get it.
No.
Wait, Gary. Let me explain. I get where Chester is coming from. If you want to know if you like my partner, talk to my partner. Don't talk to me. Because if you like him, if you want to get with him, then by all means, go and talk to him. If you like me and you want to talk to me, talk to me. Don't go talking to Jim. It's a matter of like, I know what you're about. Like, it's a matter of like ask the question of the person that you want to be with. Don't ask the person that they're with.
Right. It's no different than some guy coming up to me and, your boyfriend's hot. What is he into? Why don't you go ask him? Because I'm not going to give you tips.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's because to me, it's like, if you want him, they're trying to get something out of you so that they can get with them. That's kind of like, why don't you just...
To clarify, it only bothers me when it's somebody that I'm attracted to as well, and they don't want me. If it's somebody that I'm not really attracted to, but I know that Evan probably would be attracted to, I'd be like, oh, hey, Evan, come over here, and I'd bring him into the conversation.
Nope. Either way, like if you want him, you can go talk to him. Because honestly, I don't want to know. Like, after whatever, if y'all go off and whatever, that's fine. You go right on ahead and do that thing. I don't want to know all the intimate details about said thing. And I'm going to probably know all the intimate details if you're asking me what he's into.
Okay. So... my perspective is, I will say this. Perhaps you are being asked these questions sort of out of a courtesy and a recognition that there is a relationship, and to not ignore you outright and just go talk to your partner. Tied in with that, perhaps there is a aspect that they see you as a dominant force that should be addressed so that there isn't this awkwardness or weirdness, because maybe they don't, in some cases, know you and how you're going to react. And the last thing they want is husband drama where the person turns around and be like, why are you talking to my man? Or whatever. So that said, Chester, here's my other thing I want to say to you is, oh, you poor baby, to have such a hot boyfriend that people want to hook up with him. I think you need to check yourself for a second, because my feeling on it is I have had hot boyfriends and people have told me that my boyfriend is hot, and I say, thank you. I know, I picked him. And that's how I process it. It's like,
I react the same way.
But what you were just describing now, though, is what I think a little piece of it that you revealed in some cases is that's really about you being bothered that they're more interested in your partner than they are in you because you were interested in them. That's a you thing, baby. Like, that's got nothing to do with them. And
I never said it wasn't.
know that about you. I know, but I'm saying, like, you're making it seem like it's their issue. And I'm like, no, it's not their issue. Unfortunately, it's yours because they're like focusing on your partner and not on you. And I get that. Like, you're not always like the apple of someone's eye or whatever. So, but for me, then I would be like, in that case, this is super shady. I'll own it. I'd be like, oh yeah, we're a package deal.
Yeah.
That's true. There have been people saying, and it all comes down to communication and approach. If they walk up to me and be like, your boyfriend's hot, are you guys in an open relationship? No. But if they come up to me and be like, oh, hey, I really find your boyfriend attractive. I just want to make sure if you guys are in an open relationship, but I'm asking out of respect. That is a very different message to me. Mm-hmm. And they will receive a very different response.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think everybody, kind of handles things their own way. So today's lesson, Cubsters, is if you're interested in Evan, probably don't talk to Chester because just go make him mad.
No, it's all about how you say it.
That's true. You got to figure out the approach. You got to learn how to sniff that butt right. Now, for Damon, don't talk to Damon. Just go straight to Jim. Just go talk to his other half. Because he's going to hear about it later, probably a pillow talk about how it went. So there you go.
Jim and I have been together long enough to where, actually, let me rephrase. Jim and I have been together long enough that we know each other. And if there's interest, they will go forward and move forward with that interest. If there's not, there's not. Unfortunately for me, I have in the almost 15 years that we've been together, I have never been able to pinpoint Jim's type, and neither has Jim.
Oh,
he doesn't know his own type?
Correct. His type is not just physical. He has a lot of other things that go into what he finds attractive and interesting. So I can't say the same person on a different day might not be attracted. He might be attracted to him, and he might not be. We've tried to have conversations
like
about
that
it so many times. So that's one of the other reasons why, like, you can talk to me all you want. I mean, I can't make him interested in you. You will have to do that for yourself. Because I don't even know if you're going to be his type. I don't know if you're going to be his thing, he's going to be interested in you. And I know that sounds weird because you've been together. Yeah, I could probably give grab some things from all the people that I've seen him with that haven't been me and kind of come up with a kind of list. I have tried that once, and yeah, it's not easy because it becomes very, very broad because the spectrum is so wide for him.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's why that's one of the other reasons why I'm like, go talk to Jim, because he will be the one that can make the deciding factor on if he's interested or not. But we've digressed from the topic of this episode.
So I learned from that tangent that boyfriends are high maintenance.
Nah.
Wow. I learned that if I'm interested in Jim, I got a chance because apparently he don't got no type, so everybody is okay.
Everybody's
it's
on
a
the
free
table.
for all.
It's a free for all.
You may be a morsel on the buffet that he is interested in eating. You just need to put yourself out there. That's how that works.
Exactly. And I know you're kind of joking, but that's kind of accurate. If he's interested, he will be interested. And there have been days where Jim is not interested in anyone except me. But but you know what I mean.
For the record, I'm not joking, bitch. That was a Drag Race reference for those of you that don't understand why that was funny. Anyways.
All right. I think are we good for the
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay.
All right.
So I came back just in time for this. So I'm calling this Ginger Wow. Because when I saw this, I was just like, wow.
Oh, I saw this picture.
Yeah, you totally reblogged this after I did.
Yeah, I totally brought out the fuck out of this picture.
It's I don't know the specifics on like the editing or anything of this picture, but his red hair is really nice and like I suppose it's not necessarily ginger, but it's more like copper. If that makes any sense. Like the color is more copperish and it's just very vibrant colors. It's just beautiful color. He's looking at, I don't know, he's kind of looking off camera, I suppose, but his eyes seem really clear. And it's just like,
his eyes seem clear.
Well,
yeah,
they're not
really
as
like clear eyes. Like, I don't know. There's just something about it. Maybe it's sharper. I don't know how the best way to describe it, but there's just something about his eyes that kind of pop and contract. But,
the lighting is
amazing.
definitely affecting things. I just don't. I'm loving the picture. It's a great specimen.
I would love him to serve me
a drink.
I didn't say that.
Wow. That's
Let's
a
play
wow.
things I'd like to. See?
Yeah.
Toot. Sorry.
Dude,
Come on, Gary.
I'd give it a 2.
I give it a toot. I'd give him a boot. Tay. Anyways.
It's a
You take the front, I'll take the back. It's fine.
Wow. Anywho.
Yeah, and just normally I prefer like getting undressed, but he's looking very sharp and debonair there.
Yeah.
That's right, Chuck. Hashtag thirsty.
All right.
That's mine. Dan?
Mine is I titled it "Is It Spring Yet?" because it's a GIF actually, and it is I believe from Dan B 85, and it's a cute, cubby, nerdy bear kind of type, and he's holding a flower pot of some spring flowers, and nothing else. And it's just really cute. He's got a really cute face and body and what have you.
My, how they've grown.
Exactly.
Spring has sprung.
Yeah. So that's mine. I thought it was really cute, and I love that it's moving and it's a gift kind of thing. So.
Chester?
Mine I have titled "Gorgeous Dick."
Uh-oh.
Because it's a gorgeous dick. The rest of it is nice too, but.
See, I must not be much of a dick man because my eye is drawn more toward the belly.
Yeah, I mean it's
dick
all
is
good.
like extra flavor. I don't know if that's right. I don't know.
Extra flavor. Ooh, I got a toy in my Cracker Jack box too.
gorgeous. It's simply gorgeous. The peen is simply gorgeous.
Good Lord. It is actually a well composed picture. It's actually really good.
Yeah. Although the penis looks just because of the shadows, until I'm like really looking at it, it looks a lot thinner than it actually is.
Yeah, that's probably. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not paying attention, the shadow cuts away and makes it not look as girthy as it is.
It's like a half eclipse. Or half.
Yeah.
Half moon ish. I don't know. My analogies aren't working tonight.
All right, mine does not have a title, so I captioned it "Cub in Nature Repose."
Wow.
I love this photograph so much, and yet it is so simple. It is the picture of the back of a presumed cub who has a big tattoo across his back and his shoulders. His left hand is up on a tree, and he has a tattoo on his left bicep. He's wearing suspenders that are down at the moment. He's wearing jeans. He doesn't have a shirt. He's got a ball cap on. He's looking off into the distance, so it's all from behind. I just love the composition of this picture so much. It's just awesome. But I also love nature, like photography with trees and the kind of stuff. So it's bringing a lot of stuff together. And I was like, yeah. It's awesome. I love it. And so this is my happy place, like mental spot that I'm trying to have in the midst of the storm that is brewing for me this week. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yay for Drenched Fur Week.
Wow. If all of these, well, no, that's not him. I was gonna say, if all of these pictures, like there's like 4 more that come down afterwards, if all of them are him, and I can't tell for certain, oh, baby, you're hot.
Agreed.
That is him.
Oh, baby, you're hot.
The left arm tattoo matches. So yeah.
Yep. And we're just gonna reblog you.
Did we lose Chester?
Nope, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Sorry.
I very much enjoy the photo. It's a very well done photograph.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm silent is because I'm sending you one that you have probably seen before.
Uh-oh.
He's sending that to Gary, apparently.
Yes. Well, Gary knows the person.
Okay.
Okay. And we're just going to follow you on the Tumblr.
Follow.
This is taking forever to load. Okay. So anyways, that is my pick for the week, is this lovely gentleman who I just started following. That is like, yeah. He's got come fuck me eyes and a cute like nose and a great smile, and some pictures he has a really good like kind of come hither look about him, and pierced nipples and lots of ink and hair and belly and all that jazz. Yeah.
And and like you said, the photo is well composed. It's well done.
Yeah.
Like it helps that the person is amazingly gorgeous. But
and if you go far enough, you get to see him with a gorgeous lumberjack of a man with a big old beard. So, yeah, who I'm guessing is probably his other half. So, yeah.
All right.
Moving on into the links, or in this case, link. Chester, where are you at?
I'm the only one who has anything. Okay, so there's a new thriller movie. I guess it's a thriller.
Yeah.
It's called A Quiet Place. And the really quick synopsis of it is there are these beings, and I don't know if they're monsters or aliens or entity of some sort. There are these beings on Earth that are attracted to sound. And this family who has, it's a mother and a father and their children. The mother is pregnant. they are on a cross-country trek to, I'm assuming, a safer place, getting away from these beings.
Mhm.
One key note is one of their children is deaf. And she's actually deaf in real life, too. So it made for all of the actors, the main characters, they all had to learn sign language. But the link that I'm sharing is to a person who wrote an article about movie-going experiences and how this particular movie is so different than going to any other movie, because the movie itself contains very little noise. That's part of the movie. It is to make sure that, you know, the director wants to draw you in while you're watching the movie, so that when the tiniest little like twig snap happens, you like freeze because you know what's going to happen. The entities are going to be coming out. But the person who wrote the article goes on to describe it's not uncommon for people to just throw caution to the wind with their etiquette now. You go into a movie, people don't shut off their phones. They get notifications, people answer their phones, people chit-chat, or they talk, or they're eating. You've got all of this background noise that's happening around you when you're trying to enjoy the movie. However, this movie, because of the way that the audience gets engaged and drawn in so much, that people won't even eat their own popcorn because they don't want to make noise during it. And he said that there were times where you would hear people eating popcorn, but it would only be when there was noise going on in the movie, which is, again, very little. So I thought the article was really, really cool. And I saw the trailer for the movie, and I was like, that looks really interesting. I really want to go see that. And after reading this article, I'm really excited to go see it, because I love when movies draw you in and captivate you in more ways than just your eyes. So that's my link.
Cool.
And guess what, folks? That's the end. Oh. There's plenty of ways to contact us. We already talked about a Patreon earlier in the show. But remember to pop over to patreon.com/Cubs Out Loud to get the podcast a day early for all shows. So not just us, but also Drag Race. You can pop over to our website, cubsoutloud.com. Shoot us an email, cubsoutloud@gmail.com. Leave us a voicemail, sexy or otherwise. Please leave us voicemails so our thing doesn't expire. And I forgot to download the ones that we got this week, which maybe we'll do next week. You can join us over on our Telegram chat at tinyurl.com/telegram-col. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Google+, and YouTube at Comes Out Loud in the appropriate place of the URL. You can rate us on iTunes, subscribe to us on Google Play Podcasts, and gives us a thumbs up on Stitcher Radio. You can find me anywhere on the internet as Box, Puppy, Box, Scum, Box, something or other.
I am TheaterCup79 on various bear, dating, etc. websites, or you can find me as pup_umbra on Twitter.
You can find me on Tumblr or Twitter under the name The Pup Up There, 30 feet in the air, taking pictures of Gary's awesome kick-ass water park party at Drenched Fur. He's like, giving me a weird look. Like, what the hell's that mean?
Well, no, I was like, what the fuck are you 30 feet in the air? Oh. For the group photo. Sorry.
For the group photo.
Right, but I'm like, the whole weekend? I was like, bitch, you had a drone? Like, what?
Are even the
drone is on my list
the
of things
hotel?
to purchase. Or various bear dating sites across the net under the name Pup Shutter or Cupcake76.
If you would like to get in touch with me, not this week. Okay? Because I'm about to put my post on Facebook, like I do annually, that it's the annual convention event, and this is like when I kind of go into blackout mode and like not going to really be posting a whole lot because I'm going to be doing stuff with like, you know, the event and all that kind of stuff. So if you would like to find a follower, send me a message or whatever, it is GARBEAR73. Otherwise, please keep it specific to the event only because that's all I'm going to answer and pay attention to.
Okay, so Drenched Fur. I forgot. Are you guys doing a show next week?
So yeah, funny question. So here are the possibilities of what might happen with episode 462. Might record at the run, might not record at the run, might be available Sunday, but I'm going to tell you right now, my ass is probably going to be exhausted Sunday. So
Hashtag same.
yeah, so I kind of doubt I'll be ready and available. So I think this is the safe expectation. Damon and Jeff get a week off. And I don't know about the rest.
We'll figure it out when we figure it out.
Say subscribe. So Damon and I will see you in 2 weeks at least. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good one, y'all.
Oh man. Okay. My dinner is here, so I'm probably gonna pop off here so it doesn't get cold. I will write the synopsis when I get done with my food. That was a fun show.
And are we going to be doing? And this is good to put on the post show. Are we going to be doing more mornings in 2 weeks?
I have to look at a schedule. Oh, it's not gonna fit.
Nope.
Can't fit over your headphones. Sorry. No one can see it, but us. Oh,
Okay.
It looks better. No.
Oh.
What? It looked better like Ornacia style when it was.
The thing is, I can't see a goddamn thing out of it.
Right.
Anybody who's sticking around can now see it. There we go. Oh, now he's taking it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I seriously look like some kind of weird fucking, I don't even know. Anyway.
Goof.
Nice.
Bye, David.
Nice.
See you in 2
Schedule real
weeks.
quick, because I think there's something in 2 weeks.
All right.
Today is the 8th, so 22nd. The 22nd, I have a hard out of 1 a.m. 1 p.m.
I was like, 1 a.m. Perfect.
We'll get done then.
Yeah, really.
Or isn't that before?
Technically, yeah. It will technically be.
Well, we'll figure it out. So,
all right.
people just
so
subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to watch us live.
So next week is in the air. But the 22nd, the 22nd is also technically in the air in regards to we may be recording in the day or we may be recording in the evening.
Okay. Well, I think this is starting to get boring, so I'm going to stop streaming.